All right, so we're diving deep into what it takes to be a soil surveying technician.
Yeah, getting you ready for that interview.
Exactly. And we've got some really cool resources from RoleCatcher to help us out today.
We do. We've got career guides and interview guides.
Mm-hmm. And even some info on how AI can help you tailor your answers.
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot about that AI.
I know, it's pretty amazing how AI is changing things up, isn't it?
It really is. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's break down what a soil surveying technician actually does.
Right, because you're not just digging in the dirt, right? You're like analyzing the foundation of our planet.
Huh, that's one way to put it, I guess.
So the RoleCatcher Guide says that a soil surveying technician collects and analyzes soil samples, conducts field surveys, and prepares reports.
Yeah, that's the gist. But there's a lot more to it than that.
It's actually a pretty dynamic field.
Oh, for sure. You get to use all sorts of high-tech tools like GPS, soil augers, and specialized software.
Plus, the job outlook is projected to grow by 5% over the next decade. So,
It's a good career move.
exactly. It's not just about landing the job. It's about stepping into a field with a real future.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the skills that are really important for this role.
Sounds good.
The RoleCatcher Guide highlights a bunch of different skills, but one that really stood out to me was computers and electronics.
Oh, yeah, that one's huge, actually. 65% of the job involves computers and electronics.
Really? 65%.
Yep, think about it. You're using GPS to map out sampling sites, then inputting data into software that analyzes soil composition, creates reports,
Wow, that's a lot of tech.
and even generates 3D models of the terrain.
That's so cool. So you need to be pretty tech savvy for this role.
Definitely. But it's not just about the tech skills. You also need a strong understanding of geography.
Right. 63% of the job involves geography.
Makes sense when you think about it. You could be working in all sorts of different environments, from mountains to forests to deserts.
And each location has its own unique soil composition, right?
Exactly. So you need to be able to adapt your techniques and knowledge to different settings.
Plus, the guide mentions there's potential for travel.
Oh, yeah. Who wouldn't want a job where you get to explore different landscapes?
So not only is it a job with a bright future, it sounds pretty adventurous too.
It definitely can be.
All right. So we've talked about what a soil surveying technician does and some of the key skills involved. Now, let's get down to business.
Interview time.
Exactly. We're going to focus on some of the most common and sometimes tricky interview questions that you might encounter.
And give you some tips on how to knock them out of the park.
That's right. So are you ready to dive in?
Ready when you are.
Okay, first up, can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with soil sampling equipment?
Yes, the classic problem-solving question.
This is where you really get to showcase your practical knowledge and your ability to think on your feet.
It's not enough to just say, oh yeah, I fixed it. You need to walk the interviewer through your thought process.
Right, so let's say you're out in the field and your soil auger suddenly stops working.
What's your first step?
Well, I guess I'd start by checking the obvious things, like is it plugged in? Is the battery charged? Are there any loose connections?
Exactly. You want to show the interviewer that you approach problems in a methodical and resourceful way.
So I'd check all the basics, and if that didn't work, I'd probably consult the equipment manual.
Good idea. And maybe even try some different troubleshooting techniques.
And of course, I'd make sure to follow all the safety precautions.
That's important. The interviewer wants to see that you prioritize safety.
And they might even ask some follow-up questions, like what was the most challenging aspect of that situation? Or what did you learn from that experience?
So be prepared to elaborate and give specific examples.
All right, next question. How do you ensure safety while working in the field?
Now, this one's crucial.
Definitely, because this job can involve some pretty harsh conditions.
You could be working in extreme heat or
Yeah.
cold.
Or dealing with potentially hazardous materials.
So you need to show the interviewer that you're aware of the risks and that you take safety seriously.
Don't just say, I follow safety protocols.
Right, give specific examples of the safety gear you use, the procedures you follow, and how you communicate with your team to ensure everyone's on the same page.
Maybe even mention any relevant training or certifications you have, like OSHA training or first aid.
Those are great points. It
Oh.
shows the interviewer that you're proactive about safety.
All right, let's move on to another important question. Can you describe a time when you had to communicate technical information to a non-technical audience?
Ah, the communication question.
Because you're not just working with other scientists and engineers, right? You'll also be interacting with clients, landowners, maybe even the public.
So you need to be able to explain complex soil concepts in a way that everyone can understand.
It's all about clear and effective communication.
Exactly. So think about a time when you had to explain something technical to someone who wasn't familiar with the field.
Did you use analogies or visual aids?
Did you check for understanding and adjust your explanation accordingly?
And did you achieve your desired outcome?
Those details help bring your example to life and demonstrate your communication skills.
Okay, next question. How do you stay current with advancements in soil surveying technology and techniques?
This is where you get to show your passion over the field,
And your commitment to continuous learning.
because technology is constantly evolving and you need to stay ahead of the curve.
So don't just rattle off a list of conferences, journals, or online courses.
Explain what you've learned from those experiences and how you've applied that knowledge to your work.
And you can also mention any associated certifications you have that demonstrate your expertise.
Definitely, those can really boost your credentials.
All right, so those are just a few examples of the interview questions you might encounter, but they give you a good sense of what interviewers are looking for.
They want to see your problem-solving skills, safety consciousness, communication abilities, and commitment to learning.
Now, I know these questions can seem a little daunting.
They can be, but that's where RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools come in.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot about those.
They can really help you prepare and feel more confident going into that interview.
So let's take a closer look at how RoleCatcher's AI can give you that extra edge.
So RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze job descriptions,
Oh, wow.
and then suggest improvements to your CV.
So it's like having a personal CV editor.
Pretty much it helps you highlight the skills and experiences that are most relevant to the specific job.
And that's key, right? Because you want to make sure your CV gets past those automated screening systems.
Exactly. You want to catch the eye of a real human recruiter.
And once you've got that interview, RoleCatcher's AI can also help you prep.
Oh yeah, their AI-powered interview practice is awesome.
I've heard good things about it.
It's like having a personal interview coach.
So you can practice answering common interview questions.
Yeah, and get instant feedback on your delivery, your content, even your body language.
Wow, that's pretty comprehensive.
It is. It can even give you personalized tips on how to improve your clarity, confidence, overall impact.
So you walk into that interview feeling prepared and confident.
Exactly, because you've already practiced and received expert feedback.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked a lot about interview prep, but let's shift gears for a moment.
Okay, where are we headed?
Career paths.
Ah, yes, the future.
The RoleCatcher Career Guide actually highlights some interesting advancement opportunities for soil surveying technicians.
Like what?
Well, with experience in additional training, you could become a senior technician, a project manager.
Nice. Those sound like good options.
You could even pursue further education to become an engineer or an environmental scientist.
Wow, now those are some serious career goals.
And there's a whole section in the guide on associated certifications.
Oh yeah, certifications are a great way to boost your credentials.
One that caught my eye was the Certified Professional Soil Scientist,
That one sounds pretty impressive.
right from the Soil Science Society of America, no less.
Definitely adds some weight to your resume.
Okay, back to interview prep for a sec.
Okay, what do we have?
Let's talk about a question that often throws people off. What are your salary expectations?
Ooh, yeah, that one can be tricky.
It can, but the RoleCatcher Career Guide actually provides some helpful insights on average salaries for soil surveying technicians.
Oh, that's good to know.
So do your research, look at industry benchmarks, consider your level of experience and location.
And be prepared to articulate your value to the employer.
Right, because you have valuable skills and knowledge.
Don't be afraid to negotiate.
Exactly, know your worth.
Yeah, all right, what's next?
Okay, here's another tough one. What are some of your weaknesses?
The dreaded weakness question.
It can feel like a trap, but it's actually an opportunity.
To show where...
What demonstrates self-awareness and a commitment to growth.
Oh, okay, I see that.
The key is to choose a weakness that's not essential for the job.
Right, and then highlight how you're working to improve it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, for example, you could say, I sometimes get so focused on the technical details that I can overlook the bigger picture.
And then explain how you're developing your strategic thinking skills, maybe by taking a course on project management.
Or by seeking feedback from senior colleagues.
That shows the interviewer that you're proactive about personal growth.
All right, next up. Why are you interested in a career as a soil surveying technician?
This is your chance to shine.
Let your passion shine through.
Talk about what drew you to the field.
Were you fascinated by the natural world?
Did you want to contribute to environmental sustainability?
Or maybe you're just really intrigued by the science of soil analysis.
Whatever it is, be genuine, be specific.
And connect your passion to the specific role and organization.
Good point.
Okay, now another common question. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a stressful situation at work.
Everyone's got a story about that.
The interviewer wants to see how you handle pressure.
And how you maintain composure under challenging circumstances.
So think about a time when you faced a tight deadline, a demanding client, or a complex technical problem.
And then describe the situation, the actions you took, and the outcome.
Focus on your problem-solving skills, your ability to stay calm and focused, and your commitment to finding solutions.
It's okay to admit that you felt stressed.
Exactly, it shows you're human.
What matters is how you manage that stress and what you learn from the experience.
Okay, last question for this section. Have you ever had to lead or supervise a team?
Ah, the leadership question.
Even if you haven't held a formal leadership role, think about times when you've taken initiative, guided others, or collaborated effectively.
Good point.
Maybe you led a group project in school, organized a volunteer event, or mentored a junior colleague.
So it doesn't have to be a formal work setting.
Exactly. Describe the situation, your leadership style, and the results you achieved.
Focus on your ability to motivate and inspire others, delegate effectively, and foster a positive team environment.
Because leadership skills are valuable in any role.
Even if you're not directly supervising others.
So we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
Yeah, from the day-to-day of being a soil surveying technician to all those interview questions.
And let's not forget RoleCatcher's AI tools.
Oh, right. Those are a game changer for sure.
Definitely, they can really give you an edge in your job search and interview prep.
Having personalized feedback on your CV and those interview responses is invaluable.
Like having a career coach right in your pocket.
Exactly. But you know what's really cool about all this?
What's that?
Remember how we talked about the importance of soil data and all that, especially with climate change and everything?
Oh, yeah, that's a huge aspect, isn't it?
It is. Soil surveying technicians are like on the front lines, you know?
Of understanding and protecting our planet.
Exactly. It's not just about collecting data, it's about making a real difference.
So it's a job with a real purpose.
Absolutely. Now let's talk career paths for a sec.
Wait, what are some of the options?
Well, you could start as an entry-level technician, get some experience under your belt.
And then move up the ranks.
Right. With more training and experience, you could become a junior technician.
And then a senior technician.
Lead projects, mentor junior colleagues, you know, the whole shebang.
Or you could even specialize in a specific area like soil conservation or environmental remediation.
Now that sounds interesting.
Right. And if you're more into the management side of things, you could become a project manager.
Overseeing multiple projects and teams.
So many possibilities.
There are. And don't forget about those certifications.
Oh, yeah, those can really open doors.
Things like the Certified Professional Soil Scientist or the Registered Professional Soil Scientist.
Definitely give you a competitive edge.
So you're not just prepping for an interview, you're stepping into this amazing world.
Where science meets adventure.
Where technology and the environment come together.
And your work has a real impact.
It's pretty exciting stuff.
It is. We've covered so much today. But remember, curiosity is key.
Never stop learning.
Keep asking questions. Keep digging deeper.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one developing new technologies or shaping policies to protect our planet.
That's a great thought. And remember, if you ever feel overwhelmed, RoleCatcher's AI is there to help.
Every step of the way. Good luck with your interview, and thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
See you next time.